There is a man. He is scrolling through the news. And today, like every day, the news has informed him that something is trying to kill him. The bacon? Carcinogenic. The sunlight? Carcinogenic. The plastic water bottle he refilled 4 times, because he once read that refilling plastic water bottles is carcinogenic. Also, somehow, carcinogenic. He looks out the window at his world. A world of processed food, glowing screens, invisible radiation, and a faint smell of exhaust. He has decided to call the city. And he wonders, as we all eventually do, was it always like this? He pictures his distant ancestor, a lean, sun-warmed figure, standing on the open grassland of the Pleistocene. No microwaves, no tanning beds, no subscription service quietly billing his soul. Surely that body, clean, organic, free-range, was safe. Surely cancer is a glitch we wrote into ourselves. A bug in the modern software. It's a comforting theory. It is also, as we are about to discover, almost entirely wrong. Let's go to South Africa, specifically to a cave called Swartkrans, where roughly 1.7 million years ago, something walked and then stopped walking. All that remains of it is a single foot bone, a toe, more or less. And on that toe is a growth, a dense, angry bloom of bone where no bone should be. When paleopathologists examined it, they reached a quiet, unsettling conclusion. Osteosarcoma, aggressive bone cancer. The oldest malignant tumor ever found in a member of our family tree. Older than our species, older than fire as a habit, older than language as we'd recognize it. So, no, cancer did not arrive with the deep fryer. The truth is stranger and far older than that. Cancer is not a modern invention. It is a fundamental risk of being a multicellular thing. The moment life decided that cells should cooperate, that they should grow, divide, and then politely stop, it created the possibility that one cell, somewhere, would refuse to stop. Cancer is simply a cell that has forgotten it's supposed to be part of a team. And cells have been forgetting that for a very, very long time. Which raises a fair question. If cancer is this ancient, why don't we trip over it constantly in the fossil record? Why is one toe bone a headline and not a footnote? The answer is one of the great frustrations of archaeology, and it has a name: the paleopathological gap. Here is the grim logistics of it. Most cancers don't grow in bone. They grow in soft tissue, lungs, stomach, liver, the warm and busy organs. And soft tissue does something deeply inconvenient for science. It rots. Give it a few thousand years and the entire crime scene dissolves, taking the evidence with it. Bone, on the other hand, keeps receipts. A bone tumor leaves a permanent, fossilizable signature. So the overwhelming majority of ancient cancers died quietly with their owners and left no trace at all, while the rare bone tumor survived to confuse us. Consider Egypt. Researchers once examined a collection of around 1,000 mummies, 1,000 reasonably well-preserved ancient humans, and found only a small handful with any sign of tumors at all. For a while, that looked like proof. Ancient people, it seemed, simply didn't get cancer. But it wasn't proof of absence. It was proof that we were staring at the one tissue least likely to tell us anything. We weren't finding healthy ancestors. We were finding incomplete evidence and mistaking the silence for an answer. And then there is the second reason, somehow both the simplest and the bleakest. Cancer is, overwhelmingly, a disease of age. Every time a cell divides, it copies its DNA, and it copies it slightly imperfectly. A typo here, a smudged letter there. One typo is nothing. But your cells divide constantly, for decades, and the errors quietly accumulate. Cancer is, in a sense, just the slow arithmetic of those mistakes finally reaching a number that breaks something. The longer you live, the more rolls of the dice. And the dice are not on your side. Now look at our ancestors. The reason they so rarely reached the cancer lottery isn't that they were healthier. It's that they kept dying of everything else first. They were not, as a rule, getting old. A leopard had opinions. An infected cut had no antibiotics to argue with. A bad winter, A falling rock, a misjudged cliff, a rival with a sharpened stone, the Pleistocene offered a generous menu of ways to not see 40. Our ancestors didn't have to worry about microplastics or UV rays from tanning beds. They were much too busy trying not to become the plat du jour for a saber-toothed cat. Cancer wasn't rare because it couldn't touch them. It was rare because something faster usually got there first. So we did the unthinkable. We won. We invented agriculture, medicine, shelter, and the radical idea that a small infection shouldn't be a death sentence. We dragged the average lifespan up and up, decade by decade, until something quietly inverted. The external threats, the lions, the famines, the fevers, faded into the background. And in the silence they left behind, a much older threat finally had the time to speak. But we didn't just unlock cancer by living longer. We turned up its volume. This is the mismatch theory. Our bodies were tuned over millions of years for a world that no longer exists. We evolved to crave sugar, when sugar was a rare seasonal miracle, and then built a civilization where it pours from every vending machine. We evolved to move all day, and then invented the chair, and the commute, and the 11-hour sitting marathon we call a job. Our cells, in other words, are still playing by the rules of a game that ended 10,000 years ago. They are running ancient software on hardware we have radically overclocked. Add industrial chemicals, processed everything, alcohol, tobacco, and a sun we now meet mostly through glass, and we have effectively cranked up a process that used to be a rare biological accident. The glitch was always there. We just handed it a much bigger stage, a brighter spotlight, and a great deal more time. And so here we are, at the strange punchline of human progress. We spent 2 million years escaping the things that wanted to eat us, only to discover that the most patient predator had been inside us the entire time. Not a creature out in the dark, but our own cells, quietly forgetting the rules. We traded the lion for the tumor. We traded a quick external threat for a slow internal one. And we made that trade by succeeding by living long enough, comfortably enough, for our own biology to finally catch up with us. There is something almost humbling in it. Cancer isn't a sign that we've gone wrong. In a grim way, it's a sign of how far we've come. It is, you might say, a disease of victory. So yes, the caveman diet was probably wonderful for your cells. The fresh air was lovely. The sugar-free lifestyle was, technically, ideal. But given the choice between dodging saber-toothed cats at 32 or quietly grumbling about microplastics at 80, I suspect most of us will take the microplastics. And the chair. And, gratefully, the oncologist. The cave was clean. It was also extremely brief.